So, I tried to do this video yesterday, but there's a lot of construction going on up here at the shop, so I just figured I'd scrap what I did yesterday. I didn't think you guys wanted to hear banging and hammers and drills and air compressors and all that crap. So, what we're going to talk about today is the Doodlebug from RocketScienceMods.com, and here we go. Alright, I'm a little torn on this one. I don't vape Genesises or anything that have brass in contact with juice. And the entire center post, and I'm going to go up close on this, the entire center post on it is brass with brass nuts. That's a problem for me because everything I've ever had that had brass contacts, you know, eventually over time, and this one's already doing it, turns black, and whether it be corrosion or lead or blah blah blah, you know, I don't feel safe vaping it. So, all that said, this is my favorite Genesis I've ever used, and so it's a love-hate, and thankfully I've got a buddy who has made me a stainless steel center post for it and two stainless steel nuts to replace the brass contact. So we'll have a vape on it, and then we'll maybe go up close. Alright, so let's do a little up close, and then we'll come back and have some final thoughts about the Doodlebug. Alright, so the Doodlebug. This is not going to do a ton of up close because, I don't know, Genesis is a Genesis, but there are a little bit of interesting things here on the Doodlebug. For one, the center pin is adjustable. You've got 1.5 millimeters of play in and out, and that's adjustable by the horrid decision of using the brass nuts up in the top cap. So generally you could just loosen this, thread it down some, tighten it up, and then you could get a little bit of play in and out on your 510. The top cap is ridiculously secure. I mean, for when it comes to O-rings securing a top cap, I have yet to see one that is as tight and as well, I don't know, as secure as the Doodlebug. Absolute right decision on the wick hole. It's got a smooth bore 3mm wick hole, and I've got a little bit smaller wick in there than the wick hole just for gravity feeding the wick with mesh, and on this one a full wrap of 30 gauge Canthal. Generally you just unscrew the nut, Allen head screw, just like any wrapping any wire, I guess, you know, trap the negative, wrap around the positive post, screw it down to tighten it. Now where they did it right on the wick hole is the fill hole is the same size. There you can put a screw in that to plug it up, but for me, I found for, I guess, proper displacement and better wicking, leaving that screw out, you get a lot better wicking. So all pretty standard there. They say that, you know, that kind of bevel inside the tank there allows for every drop of juice to be pulled out of it or I don't know, wicked up. I don't run my wick all the way to the bottom, so for me personally, I don't find a benefit in the shape of the tank. I would like to have seen it just flat so I could put more juice in it. But really, where the I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my put it on a Nemesis here to have this secure and kind of out of the way. Where the home run in this hack comes is in the top cap. If you see in there, and it comes with a 1mm air hole. I did drill this out to 1.3. I have found a 1.3mm air hole inside this ridiculously small air chamber is a wonderfully smooth draw. But if you look down in there, I can even focus this close. Your wick sits up in that beveled out portion. And so I guess what you would consider, let me see if I can get a pen and point this out. What you would say is the this portion of the top cap sits right on the addy deck. So the air chamber is literally just what's up in here. Well, what's up in here. That sits around your wick to make what is the smallest air chamber literally ever made inside a Genesis. Smaller than the Fagati, smaller than the Orion. And that amazingly small air chamber creates phenomenal flavor. And so this was a great idea. The way they left all of that in, all of that extra meat in there, it does lead to it being a heavier Genesis. But yeah. So, you know, the wick sits down in there. Now, if you, when you're putting this together, try to do this on camera. You have to put the wick up in that hole, or in that beveled portion, and then really push it on there. And it's actually difficult to get off. If you, with that top cap on there, now twisted it, you would destroy your wick, because the entire wick and coil is sitting up in that beveled out section. So, just a nice up close look of it on a Nemesis. Really, really good looking setup with a ton of fingerprints on it. But I think she's beautiful. So that's it for the up close on the Doodlebug. So let's go to some thoughts and impressions. Be right back. All right, so that was the up close. Yeah, that brass post, that's like a big deal breaker for me. I will try to find out what the threaded post is and the size of the nuts are for the, and I'll leave a comment down, or leave it down in the description, because I think it is a pretty standard threaded screw with two pretty standard nuts. I haven't replaced it yet. I got it in a bag at the house, but absolutely after replacing that, I would have to say for me, in the area of performance, in the area of flavor, it is, my opinion, the best performing 510 Genesis I've ever used. So let's have us another vape. Got my air hole out of line. Absolute stellar performance, absolute stellar flavor. If you fancy getting one of these, I would say, you know, they do them in batches. I think on the 4th batch now. They're finna do the 4th batch of it. And so the door's finna open. It's Jamie JC West, YouTube, Facebook, Vapor's Place. Be strong, vape on. See you again next time.